Test. Let me know how we're doing. Looking good on the digital side. We'll make sure we're good on the other side. Give me a few minutes. What's up, my guy, Fletch? Cool. So lame, it doesn't show. Just trying to get the tweets out. Hope you guys are doing well. Crazy week. A lot of people upset, mad with what happened, and dude, we've been chill. These were some textbook setups with rainbow theory, and we get to go over today, so I'm real excited about that. Just give me a second. Let me post over to my guys Pepe's group. Cool. All right. What's up, Fizzin? How are you? Good to see you, Fletch. Thanks for holding it down at the round table in the Discord the other day. I think you were in there for like over 24 hours. I think I need to see if I actually I think I tried to actually kick you to make it like kick you out, but I was afraid it was gonna like permanently kick you, so I don't know. I don't remember if I actually did it. Anyway. But let's go ahead and get started. So weekly well watch, rainbow trends, all the charts, news, crypto stuff, jokes, fun stuff, technical stuff. We even talk about generators sometimes. Dude, every week, every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hang out here for about an hour, then we head over to the Rainbow Trends Discord, and then we open up the mics, we turn off the recording equipment, and then we have a round table and hang out with everyone there. It's kind of our weekly hangout during the middle of the week before the weekend hits. If you guys don't know me, I'm Rainbow Runner, the guy behind all the coding of like rainbow trends and whale theory and stuff like that, which is kind of the hybridization of like Wyckoff theory, algorithmic trading, stuff like that. If you're curious why my charts look any way they do, check us out at rainbow-trends.com, or go read up on our OGs and friends and family and stuff like that. It's all there in all the links. And moving on. End of the month's coming. We will be doing another drop-off at the local animal shelter. If you guys don't know, we don't spend money on... we spend a little bit of money on ads, but not really. We spend most of our money donating it. Our ad budget goes directly to local pounds. So in the event that you want to go help us out, shoot me a DM or something. We're always open. Pretty much you DM me, you want to add some funds to the thing, more stuff gets loaded into the back of the Tundra. And some people were asking, what about the bandanas again? This was the cutest pup we saw last time. It was tiny. If you're curious about these bandanas, there's been a few rainbow theory people who've like got them for their own dogs. This is the link. I'll put it in the chat real quick. They're like $7, but they kind of go on sale because I tend to raid these guys every few weeks when we do drop-offs, because my kids frankly tear up all my bandanas. And that link is 30 pages long, but it's in the YouTube and it's in the Twitch as well. Yeah, is it Twitch? Yeah, Twitch. Sorry, we're dual streaming. And anywho, if you guys want, they're $7. They're cool. Take a little time to get, and sometimes they go to sale. But that's one thing that's cool. I don't make any money off selling bandanas, but that's the one we found for the dogs. We love it. But if you do want to help us out, we are an affiliate with Kraken now, if you guys didn't know. And you can find it in the Discord and stuff like that. Some of the trading fees that you would have paid anyway would go towards Rainbow Trends if you want. It's actually the main exchange that I use nowadays. I used to be mainly only Coinbase, but that's our link in the chat. But frankly, the fees got kind of ridiculous, and the liquidity drops randomly throughout the week kind of started upsetting me. So I decided to go ahead and do this, and I'm a big supporter of Jesse Powell. And we actually have a big Jesse Powell moment later on. So definitely check us out there if you'd like. And I'm working on it now. I don't know if I can do this on the back end, but I think if you guys sign up as a Rainbow affiliate with Kraken through our link, I think I'm going to be able to apply like a permanent discount to any of the active users. So stay with us there. But moving on, before we get into the nitty gritty, if you guys can, please like, comment, subscribe on the videos. We're getting YouTube some love. We're trying to get around a Twitter shadow ban right now. Help us out with let the tweets out, because we've got some fun things going on right now with the Twitter algorithms. And I don't know if you guys have seen how there's been a lot of changes the past few weeks on this stuff. I'm not a big fan of it because my whole feed turned into nothing but breaking news, and it was just breaking news that wasn't legit. It was pretty bad. All the stuff that wasn't fake. But moving on. It's Bitcoin week. The Bitcoin conference is here. Big deal. And I saw this post up this week. It made me very, very happy because that's our longtime friend, Dylan LeClaire. Did an interview. He's one of the first guys who actually interviewed on Rainbow Trends. So you can go back and see his stuff. And it was pretty awesome. Way back in the day. Back when I was still struggling to try to interview people. And luckily, I think we might have an interviewee next week. But wanted to show some of this stuff off because the Bitcoin conference it's gaining headlines. If you didn't know, the speakership is a bit crazy this year. Donald Trump is actually going to be speaking along with our normal OGs, Michael Saylor, Ark. Robert F. Kennedy is going to be there. Russell Brand, I don't know why he's there. Edward Snowden, not going to be in person, but he'll be speaking probably. Vivek's always fun, but go check out the list. It's pretty crazy. And then we're starting to see some fun photos. So our good old friend, Tom Crown, absolute legend, king of vibes, dude, as well. He's there. So if you guys see him with the glasses, definitely go hit him up. He's a good dude. Always been a big fan of him. This was one Dime posted, as well as some others. This is the actual security signs at the conference. If you guys didn't know, no bears are allowed, which I thought that was freaking awesome. If they actually put that in there. So no vaping, no cigarettes, no outside food, no firearms, and no bears. Should be cool. Be really cool if someone like walked in with a full-blown bull. But off the social media, why we're here, why we're talking, there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot. And a lot of people are crying right now. And we're going to try to walk through the emotional parts of like trading, because that's what's destroying people right now. And if you've noticed in the Discord, a lot of our guys are like real calm and chill right now for a good reason. We saw a lot of this stuff coming, and we're aware of like what the market's doing. Not that you can predict it to a T, but like you can definitely say like, hey, the whales have not committed to a move anymore, or they are committing to a move. You've got to watch out, chill out, that type of stuff. That type of thing we have to be cognizant of in what we're doing. And one of the big things is this week, this crazy news that we've been talking about forever. Mt. Gox is like finally happening. And if you guys don't know about Mt. Gox, this is one of the biggest crypto hacks of all time. And if you're new to crypto and aren't aware of it, this is a big deal, and you need to go check them out. At the minimum, go check out the Wikipedia and you can read what happened. This is a long time ago. This is a decade. It's just crazy to think about. 2014, they got closed. Long story short. One of the most biggest, baddest exchanges back in the day. Think of like the predecessor to Binance at size, market-wise, not size now, but got hacked, and it was located in Japan. And everybody lost everything. This was 2014. They ended up recovering some of it, not all of it. And if you guys don't know, the Japanese judicial system, not feudal, takes for freaking ever. And we've been dealing with this for ages and ages. We were talking about Mt. Gox redistributions hitting the market back in 2017 when it was like $20,000. It is finally happening, and this is bearish news, right? If you had Bitcoin locked up since 2014, you definitely kind of want to sell it. And truth be told, this is a big whale's worth of money. This is a ton of Bitcoin, but it's here and it's in the market, and this is getting dumped on our heads right now. It's not fully dead yet. It's not fully bled out. Remember how we were following the German government's crypto wallets that they were dumping on the market? This is the other one. Germany's been bled to zero, and now we've got this. And shout out Jesse Powell. Dude's Kraken OG. You've seen how long I've been a Kraken supporter, and now an affiliate. Mind you, they didn't reach out to me. I reached out to them because I love their product. I used to not, but they've surpassed everything else, in my opinion. Albeit, I can't get Binance anymore. I love Binance, but I'll tell you this, Jesse's not in jail. CZ is, so there's that. But anyway, big shout out. They've actually finally got this. Mt. Gox creditors are finally getting their money back. Shout out Jesse Powell. They've been through hell and back and finally got everything done. And the thing is, all this talk, it's actually started hitting people's wallets. And I wanted to point this out. Kraken's already received a lot of theirs, if not all of them. The other exchanges are starting to get their crypto as well. And it's going back into the people's wallets who were part of the reclaim system, right? So it's not a one and done. It's rolling out to multiple exchanges, and it's going into people's personal accounts, which then they decide to keep or sell or long, double, whatever, right? But a lot of it is sell pressure, because if you've held Bitcoin for 10 years, that's a ton of profit no matter what you do. And this is a cool link. You can actually track it. This is the Arkham platform. Not affiliated with them anyway. I just kind of like their data. So sue me. Not really. But you can see they've had tons of crypto as far as like dollar values. This past month, this is where you can see it starting to go boom, 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 boom. And they've been dumping on the market. It's not that they're dumping. They're just transferring it back finally. The Japanese government's been in control of these bags, right? 10 years of litigation later, they're giving this back to the market. And it's worth noting because this is, hey, everyone's talking ETFs, BlackRock, funding, leverage, all this stuff. Why isn't price $100,000 right now? Yeah, there's a lot of things. This is one of them. A few weeks ago, it was the German government. Remember, we were tracking this one. And shout out to the people who sent them, I think, $1 worth of crypto, Bitcoin, said, have fun staying poor. But these are things that are shaking the market out, and people are leveraged like crazy right now. You see me not talking about trading alts at all, or just very seldom right now. It's not my bag, baby. Not right now. And frankly, we didn't say this before. This stream is for educational purposes only. It's not intended to be used as financial advice. Even if you were to mistake this for financial advice, this is clearly an art stream where we paint stuff all over the maps and look at Twitter comments and Twitter posts. But point is $100 million got liquidated from the crypto market in 60 minutes. And dude, these moves have not been that bad. And I want to cover that when we look at the crypto charts. But like, this isn't capitulation like back in the day at all. We've seen way worse, and people are just crazy leveraged. So we've got to be chill. But on the bright side, long term, we also have to like realize like these ETFs, they're a big deal, and we don't fully understand them yet. And frankly, this is nuts. IBIT has passed QQQ in year-to-date net flows and could pass Vanguard's total stock market ETF very soon too. Compare the net sizes of these ETFs versus net flow. Demand for Bitcoin via ETF has been relentless, unprecedented, really. Now, that's the thing people keep focusing on. It's really cool. Very cool to see ETF volumes. It is. But you have to realize a freaking ton of that is Grayscale moving out of their locked funds. So all the people that have been locked in Grayscale for a very long time are finally have an option to get out and not take a tax. Make it a taxable event. Which is huge deal. Right? But one thing I do want to post, that's IBIT. That's just one of the ETFs has already surpassed all this stuff. So keep that in mind. As we've seen with Bitcoin, we're still kind of getting the feel for it. But remember how chaotic it was for like the first month. People didn't know what was going to happen, what was going on. No one really knew, right? So we're starting to see sales again. We're seeing the ETFs launch for Ethereum, but so far we're seeing inflows, which is getting really interesting because people are like, how on earth is billions of dollars of inflows happening on Bitcoin and price not going up? If you guys don't know, and this came up, and I did a quick little tweet on it. These tickers here are not traded on the order books on crypto exchanges, and they're like, oh, hey, it's Coinbase custody, and that's true. Like 90% of them, 95% of them, whatever it is Coinbase custody, but they trade it over the counter. So they trade it off the order books, and they do it after hours, after this stuff's done trading for the day, and they figure out the delta between the buy and the sales of the tokens or the tickers for the day, and then they balance it out. And if they're short, they'll buy Bitcoin. If they have a surplus, they'll sell Bitcoin. And Coinbase handles that on the back end. So you're not going to see these volumes on there, and they're handled on an over-the-counter trade desk, which is designed not to impact price. If we saw all this volume hitting the organic order books of Coinbase, number would go way up. So long term, it's bullish. For sure. But it's something we have to be aware of. And frankly, right now, we have to kind of worry about Ethereum. And I'll cover this in a little bit. But one of the things I did want to notice or point out to you guys, we look at hash rates every once in a while on Bitcoin. Hash rates lately have been jumping up and peaking. Now we'll see if it peaks and drops back down, but they're not dying off, which is good. Which is, we knew the halvening, we're like, what is it, 90 days past the halvening? I forgot what the exact dates was. It's not the prettiest thing ever, but typically there's pullbacks, whatever, from the halvening. Sell the news event, call what you want. It's a good time. Long-term bullish. Same thing with like these ETFs. It's going to be long-term bullish. But we have seen some of the hardware die off. So with that halvening, it took a lot of miners out. A lot of their equipment post-halvening was not profitable anymore. So you're starting to see stuff like this, which was the cat's meow a year ago, the S19s. They're now $1, or they're $1,300. And the higher end, like S21s, are over $8,000. So there's a big difference here. And basically what they're saying is like the previous like badass last generation, they're not cutting it anymore. If you look at the cost of running like the S19, that previous generation one, if you ran it and you even had like 8 cents per kilowatt hour, it makes like 80 cents a day. Realistically, most people, it's over 10 cents a kilowatt hour for their power. You'd be running at a deficit. So you could run it forever, and the price didn't really change. Like, you would never get it out. But regardless, there's at no point is there ever make sense to run a miner when it's making less. You should just take the money and put it directly into Bitcoin rather than trying to mine it. But needless to say, if you look at it this way, like, it makes $187 worth of Bitcoin per year, but it burns almost $200 worth of electricity. Now, the higher end one, the S21 that we looked at, that bad boy can make $1.63 a day, but it cost $8,000 to buy that piece of equipment, plus shipping, handling, tax, importation, all that junk. So it's really going to be way higher. But keep in mind, we're just looking at trying to get a pulse of the miners, trying to see where they're looking at, what they're looking at financially. Because the last thing, you don't want the miners to hurt, but at the same time, you want them to not be greedy and fat. So anyway, what's up, RMF? 97 days. So that's kind of close. So we're back to, there it is, the Bitcoin halvening. And I think I removed some of the other stuff I had on here, but we're still in this godforsaken range. We've been in it since March of 2024. We are almost in August at this point. It's been a ride. And frankly, people have been not navigating it emotionally well, as rightfully so, because it's pretty darn crazy, as usual. We've just been chill, and it's not the most fun trading stuff. We were super trading here, had a lot of fun times, but this is now grinding, and it's grinding. And we're having deviations below the order range. This caught a lot of people out. and got people to capitulate, and then price proceeded to move back up. If you go back from this bottom wick to the top here, that's a 30% move on Bitcoin, which is a lot. Bitcoin's not a stranger to moving 50%, but that's a lot, no matter what you say, no matter what you do. And people are getting shook out. Now, we originally saw this as a creek. There's a bunch of videos on that, all on YouTube that I've done. You guys can go back and check the old streams. We had another move up. We made some longs here. A lot of the rainbow traders that are like super, super sensitive to this stuff, a lot of us longed around here and here. This was reclaiming back of the order support. We got bottom signals, a whole bunch of stuff there. I'm not going to go into it. And then we had another one that kind of formed up another creek. Right? And yay, is it Wyckoff? No, but it's definitely redistribution or redistribution, or it's reaccumulation. One of the two. Until then, it's chop. And we got another chance that went lower, set a lower low, and people like lost their damn minds. I saw calls for 20K again, right? Like, we're talking, people were posting targets way down here, which I'm highly against. I don't think that's possible. But regardless, we've had a recovery. And if you see this orange block here, this is the all-time high order block. Way back here, the previous peak of 2021, which was 64 grand and 68 grand. That's that orange block that I draw, and that's what I look at in the middle of our order range, because that is still some of the most confluence that the whales interact with, is this thing. We have a higher 4-hour H block order here, and then we have an H4 order block here with some deviations below. You could technically, I guess, draw this, but it wouldn't have been useful for a majority of this range because now we only have the second pivots there. But regardless, that's how we kind of look at it. And this is how we've like kept our sanity and stayed off the notification emails that we've lost $100 million, right, in liquidations. This is not I don't ever endorse liquid leverage. I hate it. I think everybody should be spot. DCAing is awesome. Just keep it mainly to the main bags, Bitcoin and Ethereum spot. You'll be fine. DGen a little chunk, do whatever, right? But key is we're back up in the range, and now we're in the dead center, and we fully rolled over. It was a really big deal to even get into this. And we almost got to the top, but we rolled over, and then the ETF launched. So right now on Bitcoin, we have an H4 top. We have kind of a color rotation, but the colors weren't that crazy. The RSIs weren't super, super crazy, but they are starting to roll over. It's not my textbook BART, but we'll have to see. Until they come back realistically and break through this all-time high order block, we're just not there yet. It's still chop until then. Until you can print a candle up here above $74,000, it is what it is. It just really is. And frankly, this is just going to grind people in the chop. I hate trading in the mid-range, but that's what that is. That's in the mid-range. So it's really awesome that we just keep adding in these positions here. But this type of stuff, I'm not going to day trade it. This is grind you to the pulp. The whales are eating you for lunch, and that's what it's designed to do. So you can look elsewhere for other plays. It's really boring to talk about our entries at the beginning of the month, which was over 3 weeks ago. But we're up, and we didn't lose our mind, and we just trading levels. So that's kind of how Bitcoin is, and this is how a lot of the charts are. And frankly, like all these people, when Bitcoin's going like this, chopping, I'm not really super interested in alts. The reason being, you aren't going to see continued alt runs. You're only going to see little pumps and dumps. And if you've noticed, like we haven't seen Sol go ripping for 3 weeks straight. We haven't seen Say do it. We haven't seen Ethereum do it. We haven't seen Ethereum Classic. We haven't seen Doge. Shit. I ain't even seen anybody talk SHIB in probably a month. So keep that in mind. Like it's just not there. I'm bullish overall long term for sure, but I'm going to be a little bit more boring, and I'm going to be more open to talking other topics so we can talk whale theory and get into more specifics. But on the mentions of being boring, there's like alpha there. You need to be comfortable, not always in a trade. You need to be comfortable, not leveraged to the tits. It's how it goes. And that's a big lesson there because it's so fun to ride a 10x and a 20x and stuff like that. But that same stuff can liquidate you. And the guy who was boring and just kept adding Satoshis to his wallet, that dude's going to be great. Those are the people who have just DCA'd Bitcoin, none of them are crying over time. Like that's the truth of it. And this was a tweet I really, really liked from Che. If you don't know Che, he's one of the best. What is up, Sean? Long time. Glad to see you. This is Che, and he's preaching alpha here, and he's one of the few that will tell it to your face. A lot of the big accounts are paid shills, aren't really good traders. This dude I like a lot. And he goes, you all know you can just buy spot, go do something else, wait, and profit. You just don't know what to do all day. So he's saying, like, you've got to chill out. And I wanted to cover some of this stuff too. If you want to chill out, we've been talking about the range breaking since, what was it, 20K is when it broke, and it went all the way up to 70, new all-time high, right? But price is going sideways, and it's been just murdering people on crypto Twitter left and right. You've seen people like lose their freaking mind. I just wanted to show this. If you don't want to park your money in crypto and you don't want to be exposed, there are other options. You can go sit in interactive brokers and earn 4.83% doing nothing. So your cash can sit there churning up free APR. So you could sit on cash. There's equation to all this, and depending on how much cash you have, etc. But long story short, if your cash gets there and settled, you have the opportunity to get APR for it, just sitting there doing nothing. You don't even have to be exposed to any stocks. You just have to be sitting cash. The other one is Coinbase. So out of all the exchanges, choose one that's always in your country so you can actually take them to court if something goes south, right? Coinbase is one of the highest end level exchanges, been around, one of the longest, full on regulatory, great stuff, right? I haven't checked their books. I'm a lawyer. Do your own research. But the point is, you can sit in Ethereum and get an amazing 2.22% APY, which is not good. It's not crazy good, but you can just kind of park your Ethereum somewhat safely and get a percentage back. But the other thing too is, if you just want to sit in a stablecoin, USDC, you can get 5.15% sitting back. So you can go throw it in an interactive broker, which is more old school, more traditional, and get APR back. You can park it in Coinbase, get percentages back, or you can get like 0.2% from your checking funds at Wells Fargo. So just keep that in mind. Like Chase talking about, you could sit spot, you could sit staking, whatever. If you don't even want to sit exposed, there are things you can do and just go be content. We can talk Dark Souls all stream if you want, and we don't have to look at any of this, and we can just watch the cash we've stacked from longing this crazy market, right, from way back. And that's just something you can do. So don't be the liquidation guys. We're 97 days post halving. We don't want to be liquidated right now. This is not the freaking time to be liquidated. Bitcoin's got targets way higher than this. So if this party keeps going, which it likely will, in my opinion, you want to be there for it. You don't want to be having to restart another cycle. So anyway, moving on to the number 2 crypto of all time, Ethereum. Spot Ethereum ETF trading volume surpasses 1 billion for the second day in a row. Sounds awesome. And it is. But a lot of that was Grayscale. Grayscale had a lot of Ethereum, and a lot of this stuff is like, a lot of it is exiting the market entirely. A lot of it is exiting Grayscale and going towards other products which have less percentage in fees. Talking about bad news. So that's something that you're seeing all over the headlines, and all these promoters are like, oh, it's the greatest news, big news ever. They're tweeting it and making it sound like someone bought that much Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's not the case. A lot of it's getting sold from Grayscale and going around, but that counts in the volume because volume counts buys and sells. But breaking news, also, the Ethereum Foundation keeps dumping on our heads. That's $290 million of an old Ethereum Foundation wallet getting moved. It's likely going to get sold. It's a ton of Ethereum, right? And we're now starting to get shout out Farside investors. We're starting to get the Ethereum ETF going. And these are the trackers for it. You remember I was talking about a lot of it is grayscale? It's because it is. Majority of it is. If you look at this, this is the seed fund, right? All these ETFs, they pre-populated a wallet and started seeding it a little bit. Grayscale had an absolute F ton. 9,200 million Ethereum. That's a bit. It's an absolute monster's worth, right? And if you notice, it's on a 2.5% APR fee. Not APR, 2.5% fee if you use the product. So all these people who can now move to other products with lower fees can do it. And I believe it's not a taxable event. So all these people are exiting. And look at this. 484 million, half a billion, 0.3 of a billion, another 0.3 of a billion today. This thing's draining and it's dying out. They're flooding the other markets. So overall, they're moving into the other ones, but at the end of the day, look at the values as well. They're red. So a lot of this money is going elsewhere entirely. So keep that in mind. And this is what I'm talking about, like with the dust settling, right? If Bitcoin ETF, nobody knew what was going to happen. The experts thought we were going to get X amount of dollars a day per month. We ended up doing X amount of dollars. Those numbers per day. We were doing monthly estimates per 24 hours. So keep that in mind. This is going to take a month or so to level out. And we have to see how it plays out, if these things actually keep flowing. For the most part, though, BlackRock's been bringing some pretty cool numbers in. So it's got to settle. We've got to get some age on this ETF, and then we can go from there. Frankly, though, check this out. BlackRock's here to party and putting out promos. So there's bullish here. There's bearish news here. There's bearish news disguised as bullish. I'm kind of trying to like give you guys a sense so you can like stay calm and not be in a panic mode, because crypto Twitter's 100% on the opposite sides of the spectrum every day. It's full on bearish. It's full on bullish. They can't handle it. A lot of medication there. So needless to say, let me pause the music, play this real quick, and we listen to this, because this is pretty cool, and this is like BlackRock's take on how to try to explain Ethereum to people who don't really know what's going on.
Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap after Bitcoin and has key characteristics that make it distinct. While many see Bitcoin's key appeal in its scarcity, many find Ethereum's appeal in its utility. Ethereum is a highly programmable blockchain that provides infrastructure for a diverse range of assets and use cases. You can think of Ethereum as a global platform for applications. This platform enables applications referred to as smart contracts to run without a centralized intermediary. Transactions on Ethereum require a transaction fee to be paid in the network's native token, Ether. Investor interest in Ether has been expanding as more people adopt digital assets. And that's why we're introducing ETHA, the iShares Ethereum Trust ETF, which provides investors convenient exposure to Ether. Here are 3 things to know about ETHA. The first is access. ETHA enables investors to access Ethereum's native token Ether within a traditional brokerage account. The second is convenience. ETHA can help remove operational burdens associated with holding Ether directly, as well as potential high trading costs and tax reporting complexities. And finally, integrated technology. ETHA is managed by the world's largest asset manager and leverages a multi-year technology integration developed with Coinbase Prime, the world's largest institutional digital asset custodian. Access ETHA through your online brokerage or discuss with your financial professional to find out how ETHA could fit into your portfolio. Visit www.ishares.com to view a prospectus, which includes investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information that you should read and consider carefully before investing.
So it's not a phenomenal commercial, right? But this is BlackRock going hard, putting out informational, educational stuff, content on their stuff, and what Ethereum is, because the investors that they're marketing to don't know what crypto is, and Bitcoin's a bit easier to understand than Ethereum, because Ethereum can do really, really weird stuff, and that really leaves us with the upcoming ETH charts. So big news, bullish news, bearish news, a lot of stuff disguised other way. Crypto Twitter is just full of emotional people posting everything, trying to get as much engagement as they can. It can be confusing to people not fully understanding it. So that's kind of like my take, trying to show you guys like what I'm bullish on, what I'm bearish on, long-term sentiment, short-term sentiment, etc. I think a lot of the stuff's doing really good. BlackRock doesn't have a tendency to lose, but they move in slower. So it's not that we should just expect BlackRock to show up and prices go to infinity. But this is one thing I wanted to show you guys. If you guys know me, I don't look at a lot of charts daily unless the situations are prevailing. The two that I always look at are Ethereum and Bitcoin. And those are kind of the leaders of the market. One's definitely the king. The other one's a follower, but the other one can influence the other one. Ethereum's got enough strength to mess with Bitcoin. Not as much the other way around, but it definitely can rock a lot of stuff. Also, when Ethereum starts moving, it really brings in alt season. But a lot of people have been getting destroyed by Ethereum. And this has been the easier chart to trade over the past 12 months. It's not an easier chart or an easy chart to read, but it is an easier chart if you start using like the signals of the whales and what they're doing. A lot of this stuff's been forecasted, so I wanted to show it. Some quick recap. So if you guys remember, way back in the day, I started talking channel walker. So if I turn all this stuff off, we just want to focus, get the whale out of the way. Sorry. Free Willy. Sorry. We'll have to cut that out. We'll cut that out in post. We had a channel walker form, and we spotted this one in the Rainbow Trends Discord back in like February. We're like, hey, this is starting to hug. And I'm a huge Ethereum bull. I love Bitcoin. I love Ethereum. And even I got flack from like, hey, this is about to break. And the reason why channel walks break, if you follow this trajectory, this is the biggest thing for trajectories. This isn't sustainable. That angle, right? I apologize, Jarman. This goes way out, right? If we draw that to like the end of the year, like this is end of August is saying 34,000. And it's going to look like butt because I'm dragging it out. But like that's their trajectory, was for over $100,000 per Ethereum. And as bullish as I am on Ethereum, I'm not 100K by the end of the year bullish. I don't know if I'm 100K by the end of the year bullish for Bitcoin, but it's definitely got more of a chance to do it than Ethereum, right? I don't think, I would love to get 10,000 per Ethereum this cycle. But regardless, the point is things aren't sustainable. And if the heart of like Rainbow Trends, if you guys know, we study whales, and whales have rules, and it's not rules that they set. It's Mother Nature. They have limits. If you remember in the movie The Matrix, Neo beat the bots because they had limits. No matter how fast a computer is, it can only calculate so high, so fast, and there's a limit to it. Whales can't push Ethereum at that trajectory forever. And we flagged it. We said, hey, that's a channel walker. It's a little noisy right now, but you get the idea. I don't know a lot of other people that trade these, but they hit really, really hard, and we've been studying them for years. And I just made up a term for them because no one really called them anything. But typically, we get this tight channel, and nature doesn't draw straight lines. So it takes a big whale to keep this in a straight line and keep it going. And that's a problem that you need to identify. And it's not necessarily a problem. It's just you need to be aware that this is happening, because if a channel walk is happening, you need to be on edge for the break. And that's what this is here. You see this white fractal. We were projecting, hey, this thing's going to break and it's going to retrace. And it went a little further than our projection, and it went a little less low than what our projection was off an old fractal. Sometimes these things pull back like 60%, and it's really, really rough. It's a rough day, but it happens. There's a lot of these that we've studied. Go check them out. You can search this term in the Discord, and you'll see all these channel walks that we've talked about. We saw this and made the call. I was like, you guys may not like this, but Rainbow Theory says this is a channel walk and this is going to break and you need to risk off. And from the peak, it pulled back 30%. Not 60, but that's still a lot, right? And it caught a lot of people off guard. They said it was over. And then we ended up getting this amazing ETF approval pump. And I don't know, was it this one or was it next? I don't remember. May. I don't think that's it. I think that's the big. Either way, we got a huge BART set up here. I don't remember the exact trigger event. Doesn't really matter. We got a BART set up with a clear indication here. We've done BARTs a bunch of times, and we again made a call based on the signal saying, hey, around 3,800, I think we're getting a hairline top for a Bart Simpson play out on Ethereum, and people wanted nothing to do with it. They're like, it's going to go for the moon. It's going to go for the moon. This is where you start stacking confluence and you kind of start trusting your inner instinct. Because even me, when I'm bullish as F, when I see these God candles print out of nowhere, we get the left side vertical, we get pink candles, we get white RSI, we get an color rotation, an RSI bot top, we get a runner bot top, we get an HMA karate chop through here in a resistance order block. At the minimum, I recommend starting to move up your stops, right? You don't have to take profit, but you know, your stop losses, which were down here, definitely need to be brought up at a minimum. And then if this thing breaks, you just need to chill the F out and be boring. Go back and stake your USDC, do whatever. Don't just try to trade this. You see these well prints here, bam, ba bam, ba bam. It has to bleed. And this thing fully freaking retraced. Fully retraced. This thing went up 40%. It then came down 30%. Because percentage ups don't equal percentages down. Remember that. Because remember, you can go 500% up, but you can only go 100% down, right? It's a little math thing. That's why longing is easier than shorting. And then we started setting up for another one. ETFs went live. We got approval that the ETFs were going live. Stuff started going. And frankly, this is where we started getting rainbow traders in the Discord starting to long again. I don't remember. Pixa was one of the ones I do remember talking about it. And I don't remember exactly where he picked up. I was watching these wicks into this order block, and I was hoping to God this order block held, because if 2,800 lost, there wasn't much below it until like 24. And if Ethereum hit 2,400 while Bitcoin was hitting like 60 something, it wasn't going to be a good day for alts. Luckily, it held. I was on vacation at the time, just watching it. I wasn't trying to catch a wick, but I was watching it to get in a lower rotation. And lo and behold, the same signals we got at the top, we got on the bottom. RSI bottom, runner bot bottom, RSI prints. We didn't get white candles, but we got yellow, which is the second strongest candle. We got a secondary test of the liquidity in the order block on weaker colors, no RSI, the HMA cut, and then I re-entered around here. Right around 3,000. I could have gotten really aggressive here, but I really wanted to see like what was going to happen and if this was going to hold. Because sometimes they'll bounce, and then they'll come through, hit it, grind, and go through. And I was wanting to see if we'd see some follow through. And I started to see, like on the lower time frames, it looked like they were starting to bid it. The whales looked like they were coming back in. And I re-entered at like 3,000. So that's what was my last big entry into Ethereum. Is it boring? Yes. Am I emotional about it? Not at all. The last entries we had were back here, like 2,900. And then I added up a bunch of 3,000. So like I said, the plan is just to accumulate right now. I'm just going to keep adding that support for Bitcoin and Ethereum and any other alts that I like. And I'm not going to be crying about it. A lot of people lost their lunch on this. A lot of people. And that's why I was posting Barts nonstop. I was like, guys, chill. This is, you lose your emotions. When you turn off everything and you just see this on a stock ticker, and you see these big green candles, moon, higher high, whatever. You just want to go, right? And that's a really not a good thing. Emotionally wise, and that's what the whales did. They pumped this up. You bought here, they bought there. They sold here. You got eaten alive. And that's not just like that's the market in general. For every winner, there's a loser, and the big boys are winning. So a lot of people are losing to feed the big boys. Keep that in mind. Just like market theory, that's how the game is played. It's nothing against the whales. It's nothing against what I'm saying. And then this is how I look at it with the tools over the years, because Barts in particular used to eat my lunch, and I couldn't figure them out. And I started developing the Rainbow Theory base tools out further, so we could get confluence on these things and actually trade them. And shout out my guy Pep. He started bugging me on this one because I re-entered here and I got into a decent position with not worried about stop losses, needless to say. Shout out Alameda style. That's how Caroline used to trade. But we started getting the same type of confluence on a lower time frame. Now, while this wasn't as vertical as I like to automatically trigger me to start like laser eyeing, is this a Bart? It started to roll over and it started getting Pep's attention. I was like, man, he was asking me around here. And I'm like, I don't know. But we were getting RSI top, runner bot top. Those are the reverse. RSI rollover, color rollover. And then the hairline started getting really nice and textbookish. And then we started seeing ETF sells. And I was like, okay, guys, FYI. And I posted this in the Discord and I posted it on Twitter. I was like, hey, this may be a Bart. Watch out for this. And then sure enough, we got it. So thank you, Pep, for putting me on it. And I tried to get my warnings out. That's how we trade these. These eat people up and we can try to get ahead of them. And right now, we're trying to find support. And people were DMing me yesterday. It's like, hey, is it time to bid yet? And I was like, I don't think so. Because every time we do a Bart, I kind of want to look for the full retrace back to the origin story. So the question is like, do you think this is the origin of the Bart or is it this? I don't really know yet. This isn't the just cleanest one. And if you've noticed, I've been jumping between the 4 hour and the 2 hour to explain this. This is more of a smaller, lower time frame Bart when this was a higher time frame 4 hour. So kind of looking at this at lower time frames, but we've got to see if this is a bottom. Now, if this is a bottom here, we are finding support kind of at the base of what would be the hairline, but we still have altitude. This is a lot of range and altitude. So when there's altitude like laying below me and I'm not confident there's a floor, I'm always afraid of falling. I don't want to come back. I don't want to long 3,200 and come back to 28. That's a big difference, right? We have to be really careful of that. So that's where I'm at. And shout out Blake. I hope you're getting better. You're sick right now. My beloved Blake, the blue pineapple. This is his HMA. And it added confluence because when we get these karate chops, when I say karate chops, what I'm meaning is like you're forming a top and it's kind of stalling and this HMA comes and just slices right through it. That's a top signal. Same thing with the bottoms. You can see it come down here and karate chop slice it. HMA is a real weird one. It moves really, really weird mentally to me, but it's cool math. We added it. So much love, Blake. Hope you guys get better. Hope the kiddos are good. And draw that line there and put that green. So that's where we're at. And right now, you look, we have an RSI bottom. We can look at the 2 hour and see if there's like runner bot bottom, but we don't have it yet. But kind of a unique thing that I do, and I don't know if anybody else does it. I'm really, really, really a big fan of those two charts, Bitcoin and Ethereum at all times. And I'm a really, really big fan of those charts on the H4. And I'm a really, really big fan of this runner bot on the H4 and the H top. So I set alerts that alert me year round when these print. So anytime we print an H4 bottom or an H4 top on Bitcoin and Ethereum, I get a phone alert. And when they're singing the same tune, when Bitcoin prints a top and Ethereum prints a top roughly the same day, I get real skittish. And it's kind of a just check your emotions. So we'll see where this goes. If it comes back here, I'm just going to add more spot, add to my position. I'm in long range on pack more bags load, right? So I keep making the joke, hey, he's getting away with it. He keeps adding its support, but that's really where we're at. Night, buddy. Sorry, kids are going to sleep. But anyway, that's where we're at with Ethereum. Alts are moving, but this is really this. Hold on. So anyway, until this resolves a bottom, I'm not really looking to long any alts. I don't think until I'm confident this is a floor, I'm scared of this. Same thing with Bitcoin. I'm scared Bitcoin's going to retest the bottom. And if that's the case, I don't expect Solana to just do this while the Ethereum and Bitcoin are going down. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Maybe I'll catch up some Ondo. Maybe I'll catch up some Render, stuff like that. But that's where I'm at with those two. And we are already at 850. Wow, we got to get going. Like I said, my H4 haven't printed an RSI bottom fill. Fletchness Kung Fu. Your H4 hasn't printed an RSI bottom. This is Ethereum H4, and I don't mess with these tunes. You can message me, Phil, anytime. We can take a look at it, but these are default reset settings. That's what the cloud's on now. Carbon Octum said he's not streaming today. Makes you wonder. Is he at the Bitcoin conference? Can you go find Josh? Can you go find Tom in person? Also, that's the golden pocket tool that we have added on the RSI. So check that out. That's that's top bottom with an RSI pocket here at like right above 3,000. So that'd be kind of cool if that was like the Pico bottom. It came and hit that and bounced. We're like, hey, we scalped the 618, and I can go yell at Mally that 618 fibs don't work. No, they seem to, but I don't like them. Anyway, I hope that makes sense to you guys. That is, I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. We call this stuff live. People call bullshit, but like you can go check the track record. We don't delete tweets. We do really well with this stuff. It's just sometimes it's slow, and these are big whales, so you have to play with them. But when they bite, my God, do they move? So you have to like check your emotions, because these entries here look amazing. Nobody wants to touch them when it's time to touch them. So anyway. Moving on. If you didn't know, CrowdStrike had a major boo-boo. 900 something, not 900. I heard it was 100 million something plus Windows computers went down, which is absolutely nuts. I don't know about you. That's a lot of computers. And the icing on the cake was they shut down all planes over this. They offered $10 Uber Eats gift cards as an apology, which they'd have been better off not doing this at all, because that's a gross thing to do. But check out this print on the CrowdStrike. And if you guys know, one of the things that like Doppel and Pep trade is hate. And this thing is hated right now. And it died off 37% in basically a week. So if this thing can bottom, and we're just straight up white candles here, but the RSI did hit pink, and it's going purple, but it's going into the reversion band. I don't know how far this thing can go. And remember, if CrowdStrike dies, this kind of goes to zero, and we're looking at like an old school Luna chart. So you got to be really, really careful of that. But this may be a killer entry, maybe. And we've got to keep an eye on it, because if this thing can like kind of get out of the news, gain some trust, looks like they're going to get their S together and survive, maybe. Otherwise, I'm looking down here for 172. There's a bunch of order blocks right there. So keeping an eye on it. And you've known me, like there's a lot of stuff where it's just like, hey, I think this is what's going to be the whale's next move. We just kind of look for that and go from there. So anywho, moving on. You guys didn't know, our guy Hot Pins, much beloved in the Discord, as well as 9K. He was actually doxxed this week. It's actually Shawn Michaels. Happy birthday, Hot Pins. I joke. It's his favorite wrestler, though. But another one that completely nuked this week was Ford. And if you don't know, Ford really tried to make their own company an EV company. They went really, really, really deep in it, and they went a little too far. And a lot of products that they came out with were really, really inferior to like what Tesla and Rivian are producing. And frankly, their F-150 Lightning was a disaster, and they haven't killed it yet, but it's basically dead. They can't even give these things away right now. And look at these numbers. These numbers are like absolutely amazing. They're trying to phase out gas and diesel engines altogether. Ford is, or at least they were, and they thought they were going to be able to go down this electrical path. Which EVs are awesome, but environmentally wise, it's not as good. It's just like a hybrid. So, and it would be one thing if they could do all this. Like, that's more horsepower than the normal F-150s. But they can't do it for long, and that's the problem. Some of the initial reviewers picked up these Ford Lightnings, and they're like, hey, what's the range like towing a small trailer? And Ford was like, it'll be the same as a normal F-150. Well, they hooked up their little camper trailers to these things, and they could only go like 60 miles before needing a full charge. And then you can't really charge an EV with a camper on it because it takes up all the spaces. So these dudes almost couldn't complete their test. The Ford CEO tried to do a road trip around the United States on one of these. It didn't go well. And finally, it showed up in earnings. And Ford fell off the face of the earth today. We've been tracking this range. We've been doing some trading back and forth. Mally in particular used to spend a lot of time on this chart because when it's range trading between these, is this beautiful. Trade your colors, trade your order blocks, get your entries in, take your profits, right? Really, really clean setups. Minus that. But this went all the way up. We went through our take profit order block and we completely nuked here. And why? Earnings broke. Finally, this caught back up to them, and they had a 31% surprise on their earnings, and they took a huge loss. And frankly, I don't think Ford's going anywhere. These are the type of the candles you saw during like the major financial crisis. I think Ford's going to survive. And frankly, let me see what Ford after hours is. After hours, it's 11:16. That can't be. Hold on. No, after hours, it's 11:23. So it's bounced a little bit, but regardless, this is our old order block. What's up, Ninkav from YouTube? This is back in our range, and it teleported. So there's a gigantic freaking gap here. So this isn't gonna just be a V bottom. Right? Like, I highly doubt that's going to happen. I would bet against it, but we're definitely in white candle territory on Ford, which I'm looking for an entry. This is to get back up to where we left off. That's 33% on Ford, which is like that's like Ethereum size moves. So you're getting a very, very, very rare opportunity here with a large gap that it likely wants to fill. Even if you got in the bottom range here and only like halfway up the gap, that's still like a 15% spot move trade. And if you're an option degen, do your math. But that's my point there. Now, it's not in the reversion bands like CrowdStrike is. It's not that bad, but it is definitely a violent teleport. I believe these earnings were after hours, and the next day down here. So we're going to see if we can print like a bottom. We want to see this. We want to see the colors rotate. We want to see the RSI rotate. We want to see Runnerbot rotate. HMA is nowhere near it. The HMA is way up here. We want that HMA to come down here and karate chop it. And we want to see Nancy Pelosi get long. Nancy Pelosi's long some of these charts before that have gapped all the way down. So trader of our time, if we can get her behind us, we've got rooms to move forward. Sorry, I just pulled up Twitter randomly and saw Tom Crown met the Hawk Tua girl, which is hilarious. So anyway, definitely keeping an eye out on Ford. CrowdStrike, I'm a little more skittish of because I could definitely see CrowdStrike making that big of a mess up and then never ever coming back. But this one, I don't think Ford's going anywhere. And I think they'll be able to recover. They're just going to have to kickstart their development of their gasoline engines again, which is a shame because they had a good thing kind of going with their EcoBoost. EPA wise, I'm not a big fan of EcoBoost motors in real life because they tend to not last very long. And if you know me, I take my vehicles well past 100,000. And the Fords we tend to have a harder time doing that. But anyway, moving on. If you can't get a Ford though, for the 5, look for the naturally aspirated. Their 5.0 is phenomenal. Definitely get that over the 3.5 EcoBoost. Moving on. So my guy CryptoZen was making some fun. I saw him talk about in Pep's Discord. Third time's a charm for the runner bot. Bottom, and then it hit, right? And I thought it was hilarious. So I did a funny GIF back at him, and he commented back, and he goes, "Seriously, dude, I love Rainbow Trends. The best trading tools I've ever used in 25 years that I've been trading." So shout out my guy CryptoZen. And I wanted to show this as a demo tutorial because there's stuff that, like, you guys got to realize, like, I'm over 10,000 lines of code for Rainbow Trends at this point, and a lot of stuff makes sense to me, and I don't always explain stuff the best. Frankly, I speak in really weird terms at times, and I just assume people understand me, but I'm trying to be cognizant of it. So I wanted to show you guys this because he's looking at Ethereum on the 15-minute time frame, and I wanted to show you this. Runnerbot, if we look just at Runnerbot, this is the Ethereum chart on H4, right? Very, very clean signals. Bottoms and tops, very, very, very good. But if you're trading just like this week's action, there are no signals. And you have to remember, the prime signals, they don't print very often. So when you go to lower time frames, you're going to get more triggers. The code is going to get more aggressive looking for turnarounds on the lower time frame because more erratic data is getting entered into the algorithm. And that's just the way it goes. You go look at hourly and look, you start getting like kind of scalp opportunities, what it is, albeit that's not the best one, but you get kind of the idea. It gets a little more noisy. And the one thing you also need to kind of understand about Runnerbot is the top algorithm is not the same algorithm as the bottom. I try to make them the same, but the limitations of the math inside PineScript prevented me from doing it. So I got it as close as I could. But like, look right now, like he was looking at, we have an H1 bottom here. So it's like right here, 3165. You're at 3180. Not amazing, but it's biting here. But you can see if you go to the higher time frames, the H4 hasn't bit yet. The H4 is being more consistent. And frankly, like the H4 bit here, it didn't bite here. It's waiting for what it thinks is the all clear on whales and thinks that the tide is turned, and that's what it's looking for. It's really, really useful. And people don't fully understand it. And frankly, it took 5 years for me to develop, so I don't think other people will ever understand it, and that's fair, but I want to best explain it to you guys so you can use it as like the best tool, because regardless of how I coded it, the way you guys understand how to trade with it is really kind of the more important thing. Let me pull up, I think it's cracking. I just want to pull up a chart I don't have a lot of stuff written on. So like even on Bitcoin, these are really nice tops and bottoms. A lot of times when I'm personally like kind of going for lower time frame charts, I'll try to do the entries on H2 and I'll try to look for the exits on H4. Because the H2 is a little more aggressive and I want to be a little more aggressive on my entry and a little less more laxical on the top. And if I can mix multi-time frames effectively in TradingView, I would. It's just, it'll start, when you start doing multi-time frames inside PineScript, you start getting into errors where there's misprints and misfires, and then you'll get false signals. And some of you, I'm not going to name, are clever enough to turn some of my algorithms into actual automated trades, and I don't want to do that because I can't prevent the misfires. When we get it all converted over to TrendSpider, it's actually impossible to misprint and misfire on TrendSpider's JavaScript. So we'll hopefully be able to offer that one day. But we'll go back to the Ethereum chart because I wanted to show this and kind of demo it. We'll go to KuCoin because I never look at KuCoin. So you can push this thing down to like, you can go to 1 second. It's not built for this. Now you can give it some love and give it some tuning. We'll go back to the 15 because that's what he was looking at, right? It's going to get noisy. And typically, like when you go to the lower time frames, you are definitely going to want to see clusters, and that's kind of like, hey, the 15-minute runner bot's really biting here. I need to start paying attention. And even though he was joking, but also having fun, these bottom signals kind of hit, Zen. We're in profit right now if you took any of them. The point is, what I'm getting at is this thing's tunable. So when you have the runner bot, you can actually go up here to the options and hit this little pentagon thing, and you can mess with this. And you have to bear with me. The runner bot can trade oil, it can trade Tesla, it can trade Apple, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge on multi-time frames, all out of the box. I don't know anything else in the world that can do tops and bottoms on that many assets and actually give you some freaking accuracy. So bear with me, because this was a nightmare to pull off. But your bottom sensitivities and stuff, if you want to tune this thing, you can, and you can mess with them here. This is the only setting that you can mess with. This is the bottom sensitivity, and then this one's for the tops, and you can turn the bottoms off. You can turn the tops on and off, right? But mess with this thing. A really, really odd algorithm. Like I said, it took me 5 years to pull this off. So if you're curious, get wild with it. Add 1,000. Go 1,000. Try to break it, right? Find what works for you, because when you start getting into like these really, really weird time frames, you have to realize Ethereum on 1 minute is nothing like the S&P on 1 minute. They do not move anywhere closely, and it's just with out of the box, no tuning, turnkey, go trading. I can't program that. So you have to go, if you go to the lower time frames, you are going to have to like come in here and start tuning it. And one of the guys to go talk to is Fletch. Fletch loves pushing these tools well past what I thought people would ever do with them. But see, I'm just playing with this. And it looks like I'm goofing off, but if you are a legit 1 minute trader, go play with these settings and figure out what works for you. Frankly, with the fees on the exchanges and me trading spot, I don't look for these little moves, because you're going to eat like 0.75% at least if you're trying to make moves. But you can play with these and get them to where you want them. And then once you do that, save these settings for your particular chart. Like save your layout, and they'll stay there. So save your layout for Ethereum, save your layout for this, whatever your time frames are. Like you want to trade cocoa futures, which shout out the birthday boy that we mentioned earlier, because he was trading the living hell out of these on I think it was 15 minutes. And it was like RSI bottoms was one I think he was really looking at. But regardless, you get the point. Yeah. Out of the box, we're trading cocoa. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's probably the best, though. Look, H4 cocoa. I mean, it's not the best, like I said, but like these are some really good signals. But like you want to like legit turn into a day trader who trades cocoa, go tune this thing. Go find your settings and then save them. Out of the box, H4 is what this thing's designed for, H4. So that's why I can show you like, hey, this works on Tesla, Apple, all these different things. It's tuned to work on all those. But if you want to pull it off of that generalized tuning and like micro focus it, you totally can. So keep that in mind. Lesson for the day. Moving on. Last thing we'll show for the day before we hop over into the Discord chat. Roundtable is Solana. Solana is getting a lot of crazy buzz. Anson's calling for $1,000 targets. My thought process has not changed at all on this. Break this. Break 215 and hold above it. We got to really get through this all-time high older order block. It's a tongue twister. But that's what we have to get through. Way over here, the original all-time high order blocks. These. Back from 2021. You think they don't matter, but they actually do. Because until then, this is going to chop you guys alive. Solana, like, I haven't seen a high time frame Solana trader. Everyone's DJing, leveraging it, and they're getting ripped to pieces. This looks real clean on H4, but, like, this is what the people on Twitter are trying to trade. It's gnarly. Liquidations everywhere. So that 100 million liquidations everywhere. That's what those people are doing. So anyway, thanks for coming out. Much love. Thanks for supporting us. Definitely link subscribe, follow, all that jazz on YouTube, Twitch. It goes a long way. We're really trying to grow the YouTube channel. If you need to get some dogs, some bandanas, or sign up with our Kraken affiliate link, even better. But until then, I'm going to go hop over to the Discord and hang out with our OGs there who meet us every week. And we're going to go talk charts with the OGs. And I'm going to go take notes on what they're saying. So anyway, much love, much appreciated. And I'll talk to you guys later. See ya, Sean. See ya, Fletch.